Hello again, my name is Gabe Zollner. I just caught a little bit of Shepard Smith on Fox. Par for the course, he keeps tripping on his words. It's just amazing, someone that makes the kind of money that he makes and he can't seem to keep his words straight. Check it out. Take a pen and paper and watch how many times he stumbles. But anyway, they were talking about what's going on in Syria, and they had somebody from the Brookings Institute on, and that person said that he thought that Assad should, pack it up and leave. And this 2-year war can't continue, and they've had over 70,000 people killed. Well, I think they were murdered, and they were murdered by the insurgents. They were murdered by the freedom fighters. I think most of the people that were killed were cryptic Christians, and they were the Shiites, not the Sunnis. The Sunnis are the ones that are doing all the killing. Obama's father was a Sunni. I believe Obama himself is a Sunni as well. And what's amazing about the Sunnis, and I guess the Shiites, is they have subsects within each one of their difficult groups. For example, Al-Qaeda are Sunni. And then you got Obama whacking Al-Qaeda. Well, it doesn't make any sense because they're both Sunni. But they're Sunnis that have a different interpretation, a different understanding of the Quran. Huh? Anyway, so now this guy is on trial because he went back there and he fought with the rebels against Assad. Well, why is he on trial? That's exactly what Obama's doing. At least this guy had the balls to go and fight. Obama doesn't do that. He just sits in the White House or Air Force One and orchestrates things, and he does things that he doesn't even know what he's doing. I mean, this is crazy. Then we find out that Secretary of State John Kerry said, well, yeah, we're going to be training them. And we're going to be giving them weapons, and we're going to give them money. He doesn't say weapons, he says money. But I guarantee you there's weapons. There's ships full of weapons that have been delivered. And then we find out that they've been doing this for over a year, training them in Jordan. And then you not think maybe that some of those folks, the bad guys, found their way from Jordan back to Afghanistan, and some of those weapons were used to kill our own military? You want to bet that the weapons that were used in Benghazi were also the weapons that were supplied by our own administration? How insane is all of this? I mean, this is completely crazy. And you know what? No one's doing anything about it. Here we are. We got this guy going on trial because he was a freedom fighter. He considered himself a freedom fighter, and he's fighting against Assad. And now you got Obama supplying all those weapons to the bad guys. How crazy is this? And you know what? This is a war that we're not going to be able to win. You know who's on Assad's side? Russia. And in all probability, so is China. This is exactly what we did in Vietnam. And this is exactly what we're doing again. We have idiots running around Washington that do not know what they're doing. And that includes these generals that are sending our military over to get slaughtered. They need to send members of Congress into battle. And then the wars will all end. This is completely insane. You talk about high blood pressure. I mean, this is idiotic. None of it makes any sense. Obama's been orchestrating this for the last, who knows how long. He did the same thing in Egypt. Egypt fell a whole lot sooner because the previous president, Mubarak, didn't have the kind of support that Assad has. So Mubarak fell. And then who took over? A radical, extremist, Muslim Brotherhood ex-convict. And Obama's supporting him, Mohammed Morsi. What's happening in Egypt right now? People are getting slaughtered. Who's getting slaughtered? The cryptic Christians are getting slaughtered. And they don't like the United States because they know Obama's supporting Morsi. Wow. And you know what's next? Jordan is next. Yeah. And eventually Saudi Arabia is going to fall as well. It's all going to be controlled by the Brotherhood. And you know what's going to happen to oil prices once that happens? You haven't got a clue. Why do you think Obama doesn't want the pipeline to go through? He wants the money to go to the Brotherhood. If the Keystone Pipeline's built, half of the money that's going there won't go there. He doesn't want that. Otherwise, the pipeline would be under construction. Wake up, America. The light's going to be turned off real soon And Big Sis is going to be marching down the streets and leading the charge of her armored vehicles. Look what they're doing already. They're going into people's homes and they're searching for guns without a search warrant. Like that 50-year-old wounded Navy individual in Connecticut. He fought for the country. Look what the country's doing to him. They wanted him to have a 3-hour test over at the VA. You have to meet with a psychiatrist, a psychologist. He didn't want to meet with a psychiatrist. They wanted to see if he's stable. Then they go knock on his door and they tell him, if you don't open up your safe, we'll blow it up. They didn't have a search warrant. It is nuts. That's just the beginning. That's how this administration tested the waters to see what kind of reaction they're going to get. They're going to be going everywhere looking for weapons because the American people don't want to pass what Obama wants passed. And that's why he's got the Sandy Hook families again. He's on his campaign trail. Did anybody see any bodies of those children? They were all closed caskets. How do we know what was in those caskets? It's completely crazy. Anyway, you know, there's nothing that makes any sense anymore. And there's nothing that anyone in that administration tells us that we can believe. Other than, I guess, when they shoot us. We'll have to believe that.